I'm here with Curtis. He runs a YouTube channel called the Sports Den Network, and we're excited to do this live. For those of you who don't know, we're about to start a podcast covering the Las Vegas Rockers. So we're going to be your go-to source for any news about the Rockers, um, any stories, all of that. So you can tune in and watch the podcast that we're about to do. We're thinking that it's going to be called Rockers Unplugged, and we've kind of got the logo all designed and everything. So hopefully we have that out to you guys soon. Hopefully we have the first episode coming out within the next week or two. So Curtis, uh, before we get into all the rocker stuff, I wanted to ask you, tell me about your journey on YouTube and how you got into it and what kind of content you're known for.
Well, I started doing paranormal investigations and started doing that with my daughter a little bit, moved in to that a little bit. I wrote a couple books, so that got me into the paranormal a little bit, but also music. I recorded a lot of music, so I had a lot of my videos on my other channel, like Schweiger Inc. and stuff like that. So as the years went on, I started doing more and more videos and learning more and more. Started, putting more videos and songs out, and so now I have 4 YouTube channels, 6 books, 4 audio books, and now I'm here on the Rockers Unplugged podcast, which I'm excited to get right on here in here with you, Braden.
Right on, dude. That's awesome. Nick Durst says the graphics design team deserves a raise with the logo. I totally agree. Those logos are amazing. And I went out to Vegas last week, and I got to meet the guy working on them. And dude, he's so talented. It's crazy. Like, I could never imagine designing something that cool. So yeah, I totally agree. Michael Klein says hello from Dusseldorf. Hey, Michael Klein, super fan. We always love to see you in the chat. We're so glad you're here.
Yep. Hi, Mike.
So, Curtis, what drew you to sports content and, in particular, arena football?
Well, when I was younger, I used to watch the NFL. I played sports in school. Once I left high school, that kind of left a little bit, and I kind of missed it, So I started getting back into arena football. I watched it when Kurt Warner was playing and all those guys, back in the 80s and stuff like that, all them teams. Now it's AF1, so I started dabble into it a little bit, like maybe a couple of years ago. I started getting into watching the newer arena leagues, got into the NAL. Then I do a podcast with Brian Mathern. We haven't done one in a little while, but we do a podcast for the NAL a little bit here, the National Arena League. So I found myself here, met Corrine, and had that show with her a few weeks ago, and I've been here with the IAL, and I haven't looked back. So I plan on staying right here with the International Arena League, and excited about this podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you think that your approach to YouTube is going to influence how me and you cover the Rockers?
I think it will help, because I can do videos. I mean, I'm a writer, so I can write pretty good. So hopefully we can come up with some good content for this podcast, videos, and I can write a little bit. Maybe we can write something, video. One thing that I was always interested in doing, was doing a movie. So I always wanted to shoot a movie. So I've been working on one. I've been doing some little shots in black and white for a paranormal video. So I always wanted to shoot a black and white video, almost like on the Blair Witch Project type deal thing. So working on stuff like that. When this weather breaks, I'll probably get out there and do some more investigations. And I've been covering the Panthers of the NFL a little bit here and there, because I was a big fan of them years ago. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I saw your Panthers videos. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of your videos, and you definitely got talent. So it's good to see. So how did your partnership with the IAL come about?
Well, as I said, I met Corrine, was talking back and forth, and I started finding out, this was on Facebook because I found out she was a writer, author like myself. So I ended up talking back and forth. She was telling me about the commissioner and about uh, Tom Mitchell. And, next thing I know, we started talking. I said, I want to I'd like to get up there and do a podcast and do a live show with you. So next thing I know, a few weeks ago, she had me up on the show and I enjoyed it, man. It was a cool show. So I'm anxious to get this podcast started with you. Hopefully we can, come up with some really cool ideas. I got some good ideas, but I'm kind of like hanging on to them right now. Oh, and Michael from Germany there got a little nugget that I recorded a song way back in '89. We were recording this EP, a 5-song EP back before the wall fell. So we had 5 songs done. But when the wall fell, I was writing all the time. So I ended up writing this song called The Wall, Freedom is Finally Found Here. When the Berlin Wall fell, I wrote the song. It's out there. It's on my YouTube channel, but a lot of people play it. A lot of people commented on it from Germany. I have Austrian and German root lineage, so uh, I don't know. There's a link to Germany over there, so that's a little nugget for you guys in Germany and Warrior Nation over there.
Hiroba Sushi says, "What are your expectations for the Rockers? Dude, championship or bust. We want to bring season tickets home to those fans. Fans win too, so we want the fans to get their season tickets renewed. So championship or bust. That's my mentality anyway.
Mine
Who is your
too.
Who is your favorite player that you have ever interviewed for any of your podcasts? So I interviewed Randy Gatewood. He's by far my favorite. I interviewed him last week, I believe, and for those who don't know, he was a complete monster in the Arena League. Just one of the best receivers that ever came through there. Played ball at UNLV. Got signed with the Arizona Rattlers, who were part of the original Arena Football League. Sorry, I can't talk. And he just had a great career. He played for 12 seasons. He's in the Arena Football Hall of Fame. And he was honestly one of my favorite athletes I've ever even talked to because he just had so many cool stories and different things that he told me about. And that's up on the channel too. If any of you guys want to go watch my interview with Randy Gatewood. Um,
I interviewed, which is almost it was a good interview. Tyler Kalka of the Nashville Cats, now Kalkamania. You know him, right, Braden?
yeah,
When
yep.
he was on, we had a heck of a show, man. It just went on for about 30 minutes, but we were having technical issues or something on that time, but we had a good interview. He wants to do part 2. We want to do Kalkamania part 2. So I'll probably have him on, head coach O'Neill of not the Minnesota Monsters, but the, oh my, Harbor Monsters from the Arena League. I had Coach O'Neill on there. He was on there with a couple of other players that were on my one channel. I did have a really awesome interview here about a year and a half ago where Sarah Karloff, the daughter of Boris Karloff,
Oh,
Franken,
nice.
Frankenstein's monster. Now that's
Yeah.
on CDSP Ghost Chaser. It was an awesome interview. She was a wonderful lady. We had an interview for about an hour, and oh my God, she's lovely. I always want to get back with her. I will be getting back with her at some point.
That's so awesome. Yeah, you mentioned the Nashville Cats. They were part of the original Arena Football League, and actually were coached at one time by former Tennessee Titans head coach Jeff Fisher. For those who
Yeah.
didn't know, so really cool history there. Uh, Corrine Lewis says, "Hey guys, let's go. What's up, Corrine? I'm glad to see you in the chat."
How you doing,
Nick
Corinne?
Nick Durst says, "Do you think we'll see a rivalry with the Great Eights and the Rockers? Because I have a feeling the Great Eights and the Rockers will be a good rivalry." Yeah, I think so too, because they're so close in proximity. So they'll probably play each other a few times a year. So I think there's definitely potential there for a good rivalry. So I'm excited to see kind of what develops there.
I think so too. I think there will be a rivalry with those guys. You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to
Yeah.
happen. I'm excited. I can't wait to see who the coaches are going to be. I'm excited about that, and the players. I can't wait to see what the colors are going to be, the uniform, all that stuff. I'm excited about the Rockers and all that. But yeah, I think we're going to have a heck of a podcast. I think people are going to like it. I love the questions so far.
Yeah, thank you guys for getting involved. We love interacting with the fans. We love reading chats. So we're more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Hiroba Sushi says, "What is the biggest thing you have learned about the IAL so far being involved?" Well, me personally, the one thing I learned is how much actually goes into it. This is not a one or two person operation; it's a whole crew, and I got to go out to the office in Las Vegas, and there's cubicles, there's people doing design, there's people working on public relations, selling tickets. I mean, it's a whole operation. It's a lot bigger than you would probably even imagine.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just working pretty smooth, like a well-oiled machine. When I watched the documentary there, I mean, it looks like everybody's in line and checked. Everybody's doing what they have to do. So everything's exciting to me. I like everybody here, the commish, Kareem, Coach Hollywood. I'm digging on Coach Hollywood. He's pretty cool. Maybe we could have him on the show. Um, I have some guests we could bring on, down the road because I covered the AI, not the AIL, the AF1. I keep
That's
forgetting.
awesome.
Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting they changed their name from AFL to AF1, which because I come back from the AF1 years, way back all them years ago. So
Yeah. I mean, there's
I'm
so many little things to getting a league started. I mean, you have to secure arena leases, you have to get that all situated. You have to sign players. I mean, it's just a never ending process. The work truly never stops, but we like it that way. We enjoy what we do, and we enjoy working so hard to make this thing successful. So we enjoy it. Hiroba Sushi says, "Why do you think they named the team the Rockers?" Las Vegas has a great history of rock music. I mean, especially when you consider that one of the most famous things that Las Vegas is known for is the Elvis impersonators, right?
right.
And so that type of music has had an influence on the way the city has really grown, and it's shaped the culture around the city. So Rockers was like the perfect name for the team.
It was perfect. We had a lot of rockers going through Las Vegas. Wayne Newton, Elvis Presley. I mean, just to name a couple, but there's many of them that went through Las Vegas. I can't even name all of them. There's been
Nifter says, "I'm hoping the Arizona Juggernauts versus the Great Eights brings back the old Utah Blaze versus Rattlers rivalry vibes. What was the meaning behind the Great Eights? I love the name. I'm just curious as to how it became the name." Yeah, well, first off, I agree. I hope that becomes a rivalry. The Juggernauts and Great Eights would be a phenomenal rivalry. As for the name, so the Great Salt Lake is one of the big landmarks features of the Salt Lake area. It's the largest saltwater lake in the United States, and so that's where the Great came from. And the Eights, um, 801 area code. If you got a phone number in Salt Lake City, it's 801. So Great Eights was like the perfect name for it, and it really kind of speaks to the Salt Lake area and gives it more of a personal vibe, because that's kind of what we're aiming to do with these teams. Is part of the reason that fans come to love teams is that it represents their city, right? It represents their state or their country, and so we really want to bring that in with a personal, touch to it.
yeah.
Creed
I've never.
says, "Will you be going live from Orleans Arena during this season?" I want to. I'm so down. I'm so down to go live from Orleans Arena, attend a game, interview players. I would love that more than anything.
I would love it, man. That would be wonderful. Well, maybe we'll see. We might
Yeah.
both go down there and do live from the arena. We'll go live from the arena.
So, Curtis, what are you most excited for once this season kicks off?
I'm excited to see the very first game. Sit there and check it out, see how it's how the teams are going to be, how the coaches are going to be. I think the first game will be the London Raptors against the Glasgow. Is that going to be the
Yeah.
first
Yep.
game of the season?
I,
I'll be
or
watching
it might. Yeah. Yeah. It's a Raptors versus Glasgow. Yeah. Um.
that. I'll be
So
watching
Hiroba
that.
Sushi says, and this is probably a question for Curtis. Has arena football changed from when you first started covering it, Curtis?
Yeah, it has a lot. I mean, when I first started watching it as a teenager years ago, you had these I mean, you had huge stars like Kurt Warner. Everybody knows about Kurt Warner, how he did in the arena leagues. But now today, I don't know if it's money. They don't can't get enough money into the league to pay these really star players. But there is some great players in the AF1 right now. Like I was talking about Tyler Kalka. He's in there. There's many of them. I can't remember a lot of the names that are in uh, AF1, but there's a lot of good players in there. And the Arena League, the NAL, the National Arena League, there's a lot of good players in that league. I am curious to see how the IAL is going to do going head to head with them guys. You're going in April. We'll be going head to head with the NAL, AF1. Uh, there's other leagues, arena leagues. They're coming on here about April, May, March, April. There'll be a lot of leagues going
I
like
think
that.
the biggest obstacle to getting people interested in arena league is just mainly a lot of people have never really been exposed to it. Back when I was a kid, early 2000s, the games were on NBC. You could turn on the games every weekend and you could watch it. The issue is now a lot of people are streaming, and so if we're
Yeah,
able to put those games on a streaming platform, that makes it a whole lot easier because nowadays people really don't watch too much TV. It's mostly just streaming, and so I think that if we're able to do that, um, we're going to be able to build a fan base. We already have a fan base and we haven't even started. So that should show you the appetite people have for arena football. Hiroba Sushi says, what's the biggest thing you would change with the IAL versus previous leagues? Um, I'll let Curtis give his answer, then I'll give mine.
right now, as I watch it, as I see it in my mind, I would change nothing right now. The fans are the most important things with the league, and I would keep that motto, and nothing. I wouldn't change nothing. I love the kindness of the people in the IAL, and I met everybody. I love them all. I love the guys. I wouldn't change anything right now until the league starts. Having games and see how it's going to go with the rules and the officials and the games, and see how running time of the games, where the locations are, and all that. I wouldn't change nothing right now as it's going.
Yeah, I agree with that. As far as the game itself goes, I think we've already got a great product. One of the things that I would like to see changed is, like I said, adapt with the times. So we need to be promoting our stuff, especially on social media. When the original Arena League was really at its height of popularity in the late '90s and early 2000s, social media really wasn't as much of a factor. People really didn't get online too much, and if they did get online, it wasn't to post on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, because those things didn't exist at that time. And so I think the biggest thing that we can do is promote it. Just promote the hell out of it. Just make sure that we're letting everybody know, and then also making sure that everybody is able to watch our games too. That's one of the big important things too, because the biggest obstacle I would say that a lot of these previous leagues have faced is just that they didn't have a good way for their fans to tune in. They really didn't. And so
Right.
if we're able to broadcast our games and get it out there, we're going to do great, and I believe we will do great. So, Brian Mathern, who's the 12th team, we can't tell you yet, but if you continue to tune into the lives, we will tell you. So that news is coming. So just keep tuning in every day to the lives, and we will tell you.
That's coming right around the corner. the
Yeah.
12th team.
Yep.
But
Yep. We're
you're right, Braden. Though streaming has changed everything with the arena leagues. Yes, I agree with that because when I watched, like you said, it was on NBC. Yeah, streaming has changed it, and that's what's different about the new modern arena leagues. The streaming and all that will change. I'm not getting used. I'm getting used to streaming right now, but it took me a long time to get used to watching a football game. On a streaming platform where I used to watch it on NBC. I could go to NBC, click the TV, and watch a arena game. But it's different. You know, it's going to be different. But I'm liking how this is set up, how the IAL is set up, and where it's going, and how it's being done. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, we got to adapt with the times. With social media, there's more fan interaction now than ever, where there wasn't that before. Back in the day, if you had an opinion on your team, you used to have to write into the newspaper, and it was called letters to the editor, and you could give your opinion. But now, you can just pull out your phone and you can interact with players, you can interact with coaches, all of that. And so it's a whole new world we're in. But I think that that's going to ultimately be a strength rather than a weakness. So Hiroba Sushi says, what made arena football so great when it reached a height in the 2000s? I personally think that one of the things that made it so great was that a lot of people, they want football year round. So having a spring league after the NFL season ends, after the Super Bowl, is great because people are tuning in and they want to watch football year round. So having a spring league that lasts into the summer, that's part of what made it so great. And then it was also too just a new style of football. People were have been used to outdoor football for so long, so seeing indoor football on a smaller field with high scoring, a lot more action, harder hits. Of course, people are going to be interested in that. So I think that those two things were the main strength of the original Arena Football League, and hopefully we can replicate it, but do it better.
I agree. I agree. I love the net. You know what I mean? So I agree. I agree that, yeah, yes, I agree with you, Brandon.
So, Curtis, if you could interview any athlete, who would it be?
Right now, an athlete playing in the arena leagues, any arena league, or
Any arena league, any past arena league, past or present or future. Well, I guess not future, past or present.
well, I would like to hear more. Pretty much, he's had a public story. Kurt Warner. I would love to interview him or Aaron Garcia of the Dragons. Do you remember him, Braden?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. And he had a
He
nice
was,
NFL career too. Yeah.
yeah, I'm telling you, he was awesome back then with the New York Dragons. He was something else.
Nick Durst says, "Will we see channels on their local markets?" Well, hopefully, yeah. I would love that. I would personally love that. Of course, uh, it's pretty, it's pretty intense process to try and work things out with channels and stuff. There's a lot that goes into it, but I would love that if that happened. Um, Brian Mathern says, "Where will the players come from for the European team?" Well, we're hoping to have a mixture of both European players and players from the United States. I think the game is growing, and so having European players would be fantastic. Give those guys a chance to live out their dream of playing football because a lot of those guys they've watched the NFL and everything, but there's no NFL teams near where they live, and so trying to make it is more of a challenge for European players. So we would love to provide them that opportunity to showcase their skills.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the European teams over there, there's players over there, and a lot of them wanted to play, but there was no league. There was well, you had Elf, but
Yeah, European League of Football. Yeah, yeah, and that's shut down unfortunately. But the Elf brought back a lot of the original NFL Europe teams, like the Frankfurt Galaxy, the um, Barcelona Dragons, the Rain Fire. A lot of those original teams were brought back. But what's cool now is that we have our own unique identity. We've started from scratch. We've came up with our own team names, with our own unique identity. So this is a chance for fans to fall in love with football all over again, but from scratch. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like it too. I think that's what's so excited about the IAL is that it's all from scratch. You're watching it being shaped and formed right from day one, you know. So I'm liking that.
Brian Mathern says, interview the man, Jim Foster. Yeah, I'm down to do that. I didn't even know he was still alive, but yeah, for sure. I'm down to interview him. That would be so cool because he's literally the inventor of arena football. For those who don't know, I'll give a brief history. Basically, he attended an indoor soccer game, and on an envelope, he wrote down a concept for arena football on a smaller 50-yard field, and it just grew from there. Started out small, like most new ideas do, and by the late 90s, early 2000s, it was to the point where it was almost competing with the NFL in terms of like viewership. It was pretty crazy. So Nick Durst says, do you think the IAL is a sign that football itself is growing into a world sport? Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I think so
Half of
too.
our chat is people that are from Europe. One of our biggest fans, Michael Klein, from Dusseldorf. He's every chat and every live stream he's tuning into. So absolutely, it's growing as a sport.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that the NBA did well was that they started expanding into like European markets as far as like putting games over there, recruiting players. And now half of the league in NBA is European players. There hasn't been an American-born MVP in like 6 or 7 years. So I'm hoping football can do the same thing and that we can be a part of that. It would be so cool if the IAO was like the pioneers of trying to get Europe involved in American football. And I think
I,
that they already are, but it's cool to see that the IAL is playing its part. Hopefully one day, we see NFL players that are from Europe, from Germany, from France, from Belgium, from England, from Scotland. That would be so cool.
I think it's awesome too. If you see the success that the NFL is happening with their European games, they go to Europe and play games over there. Like the Jaguars were over to Europe and they have games. NFL has been going over there for what, a few years now.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
they're
hot.
always sold out too. They're always sold out. You look at the stadium, not
Yeah,
an empty seat, not one empty seat in the whole stadium. Yeah,
no,
European people, they love their football, that's for sure, and
oh
we're
yeah.
excited to bring it to them too.
That's
Um,
what I would like to see from the IAL is that the stadiums full, arenas full. You know what I mean, with American uh, people, European people, all getting together and having this great game of the arena football game played. I can't wait to I can't wait to hear the rules. I'm not sure. Do you know anything about the rules? It's going to be traditional 8-man on 8 on 8,
yeah,
right?
8-on-8, 8-on-8. It's going to be similar to the original Arena Football League, 50-yard field, everything. So as far as like each specific rule goes, I don't think a rule book has been released yet, but once the rule book is released, I'm definitely going to be looking over that, and we'll just see. We'll just see. So we'll take one last fan question before we end this live. Brian Tracy says IAL will be great for football, for growing indoor football worldwide. And yeah, like I said, it's already growing worldwide, and so it would be so cool if it was like a sport that the entire world cared about, similar to how soccer is popular in almost every country that's not America. I think that it would be cool if everyone watched American football too. If they all had their team, especially now with the IAL. We've never had an arena league that has tried to make it work in Europe. So this is a unique idea, and it's awesome. So we're running out of time here, but I just want to thank you, Curtis, for jumping on and having this conversation with me.
Thank you, Braden.
Thank you, everyone who showed up. We just want to say we would be nothing without the fans. So everyone who shows up and watches the live, everyone who asked a question, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great day.
Yep. Thank you, Braden, and go Rockers.
Yep, go Rockers.
Go
Bye.
Rockers, baby.
Yep. See you, buddy. Thank you.
All right, later.